Yeah. So what were you saying?
You were
Lisa?
talking about meaning, like you were on your own path.
Oh, right. I mean, look, I mean, all these that people talk about the meaning of music. First of all, there is nothing. The good music has no meaning. It is absolutely the essence that has no color whatsoever. We ordinary people add that color. And it is not only just the Upanishadic view. Upanishad is the the oldest one of the Hindu philosophies. It says that the essence of the sentiments are not many. It's actually one. More ignorant we are, we see different sentiments. Most people don't even understand what it means. I have my explanation. As a musician, as a drummer, very simple thing is rhythm of 3 creates a certain sentiment. That has some meaning, right? So does create rhythm of 4. So you will say, how can you say 3 and 4 are the same thing? It is true, 3 and 4 are not the same thing. But if you look at it in a bigger picture, which is the rhythm of 12, that's one rhythm. Rhythm of 12 is one, but it contains the rhythm of 3 as well as rhythm of 4. Now, if you are even greater musician, add the 5 to it. So that if he knows the rhythm of 60, which is the common denominator of 3, 4, and 5. So 60, it becomes suddenly 3 sentiments become one, depending on the level of that creator. You understand?
Makes sense.
Now, yes, so the sentiment, love, anger, hatred, disgust, there is no difference. They're actually all colorless. You add the color.
As a
You
creator.
as a what?
Not as the creator, but
Not
as
as a
observer.
true creator. Like people think they're all creating, but they are not creating anything. The true creator, you don't even see them. No. And Mozart is a lot more famous now than when he was alive. So something like that. So the thing is that those are all bullshit. That the meaning and all that. It's so abstract that it is this bliss that we receive from a good music as a listener. We cannot define it with one word, one sentiment. Those are stupid comments to my understanding. These are the misunderstanding I lived with, and I woke up and realized that I have to just kick them out from my system if I want to make music. If I want to make the noise tolerable or musical even, then I have to get rid of all that thing. Now about the business, what you were asking me, and I said that, look at my life. You guys also know that I'm not an uneducated man. I had enough education, I had a good job, I could do other things in my life. But I suddenly chose something to work on and establish myself in that area. That was not even a subject. People never thought that, but they still don't think that the pure drumming is a music.
What made you do it from an engineer to?
The reason I did it were two primary reasons. One was that I saw how my father was ill-treated and became a victim of the stupid society just because he was a drummer. In the sense, why I thought like that, or he himself did, that job promotions were not there, his names wouldn't be mentioned as a contributor to a program, and meaning, who cares about a drummer? And that's the first thing I noticed. Yet I loved drumming, although I was not a drummer, but I loved pure drumming. And suddenly when I woke, was grown up to like 22 years old, 23 years old, I thought, hell with this world. I mean, who is this world to tell me that my taste is wrong? And now I can prove that every time that they are idiots. And it's not my talk. If you're German, Gestalt psychology. These orders is not natural orders. These are man-made orders. So we say this order of notes make music. This note is satanic. This note is erotic. Just nonsense and bullshit. No creator press that specific button to create love in the audience.
So how do you create meaning for yourself? Because it's tough being a musician.
No, it is not tough. It is tough when you dream about something which is not even realistic. Meaning that you have completely misunderstanding of art thing. Art we were born with. So why would it be difficult? Art, nobody gave me art to you. If you like listening to music, seeing a painting in an art gallery, that means you are the artist. You have every potentiality to become an artist. It is your circumstances, your association, your society screwed you up.
So most musicians, young musicians, musicians in the 30s, musicians in the 40s, they basically struggle with living on music, not getting paid, not getting famous, having some really good products, not being able to make even a decent living in Austin, for instance. And I always urge them to look towards music as this is the meaning, this is their way of being, this is they cannot but do music. Just what you said, you're born with it and you love it. So that's the art, that's what we love. And creating that image of I have to make money on it, I have to live on it, I think that's where their struggle comes in.
Right, because their focus is the audience, not themselves.
Yeah.
Now, it is not an arrogant attitude that I have that I'm ignoring my audience, ignoring the world. I'm not letting them tell me what music is. That's all. I'm asking only myself for the answer. Because I have the answer. If I did not, then why did I like music in the first place? So you have that too. He has that. Everybody does. But we all deny to see in our own definition. We look in an internet and piece of paper to see who said the definition of music of what.
So what would be your advice to them? To those
Just
musicians?
do your homework. Do your duties, the practice. There is no technique to get you a gig if you don't practice. Period. So the how to get a gig books, there are loaded in the market. Just never buy one of them. Ask yourself how much the sweat you collected in your bucket through your practice in your lifetime. How much the blood came throughout your ass that practicing a phrase.
Makes sense.
Suddenly you want to be the Mozart, Ravi Shankar. No, it's not going to happen. You just don't at all think about those results, because what you think is music is not music. If you have a homework to do, just practice on that one. And if you have several, do that too. That's the only duty we have, nothing else. What I was going to tell you, that in several interviews I said the same thing. Buddha said, very popular quote, that when the student is ready, teacher arrives. Right? You know that.
Right.
So I said, why it is only students' readiness? It's teacher's readiness as well. When the teacher is ready, students arrive. When the performer is ready, gigs arrive. You don't have to chase anything. Ask these boys. I did not know them. I did not know these rock stars either. It happened in front of their eyes. They came to me. Right, Oliver?
Yeah.
I did not look for them. I did not even know those names when they came to me.
Good point.
So what I did, I just closed doors and I practiced as much as I could, and I still do. So I of course believe in my path.
That's great.
And if I play a single song, trust me, it is my song. It is nobody else's song. Because I'm not copying anybody. I'm not trying to please anybody. This is going back to your German philosopher Kant's that great thing, the quote that is called the disinterestedness in art. Purposiveness without the purpose. In English, all these are the things. And it's not, that is the difficult part. The moment I will play and make sure that chick is really happy with that, then I'm screwed. There is so suddenly that it is not without the purpose. That's why my father's music is my guide, because I still remember. See, he grew up in my ancestral home, playing khol at the temple as a devotee only, since he was like 10 years old or even probably younger. Had nothing. So meaning that what he was offering to the God was not not as a bribe. That, look, God, I'm giving you 5 minutes of khol play. Give me $5 million. Let's just sign a contract with that. That wasn't happening, and that's why his music was so great. And he never left that attitude. And I experienced that as a grown up boy, like 10 years old. Since then, I still remember when I saw him play. It's not that I went to listen to him, but I happened to be there, so I was looking for the sweets and candies to steal from the God. And but he was playing there, right?
Yeah.
With another 1,000 devotees around that deity. They are all in trance, and I'm just stealing the candies, the sweets from the temple. And my father was playing, and I saw him year after year, and I respect that he did not give a damn about the society at that time. That has value. And if that's the only thing I can tell my friends, my students, my close people, because it worked for me, and it is still working for me.
That's great.
That's something that everybody said is not going to work. As I said, I'm not an uneducated man. I had a job in semiconductor processing. I could have continued that to make more money and all that, but that's not what I wanted. I just decided why my father had to be the victim of this damn blind world. It is to slap those motherfuckers' face. I decided to do this.
Wow.
So I think I proved my point. I can die because I don't have much life expectancy. But at least I proved my point that you don't have to lick anybody's ass. If you are suffering, if you are depressed, that my music has no market, nobody likes it, that is because you stink. Because you don't know music. When you will become a musician, you don't even give a damn if anybody likes it. That's also concept that, remember, that artists,
when you come into yourself,
right? Because artists don't give a damn how much money they make, how many fans they have. If you're an artist, you will never stop creating. That's their nature. So if you are depressed, it is only because you don't know what the hell you are doing. You are just after, you just want stuff.
So I have a question. When
Absolutely.
you were on stage, right?
Yes.
You play tabla and you very musically, and you bring out something. I don't know what, but it's pretty impressive when you
Good.
watch yourself.
Okay.
And you're in a certain zone. You're definitely in your world. You're connected to your instrument. It's all one. Can you do that off stage?
Of course, because that's me. If I'm different, that means I don't know what I don't know anything about music.
And most people can't.
Yeah, because they try. Look, it is something like this. When people go to a party, they shave, trim their eyebrows, and nose hair, and put some makeup, and perfume and all that. Why? Because they don't trust their body odor. They don't trust their natural beauty. You understand?
Sure.
So when they present themselves in the party, they'll kind of, some people think he or she looking good, right? I never wear perfume. I shave because I shave. Just because, I've been shaving all my life, so I shave. I don't give a damn about anything else. If I'm ugly, with makeup, I will also look ugly. And if I'm shining, illuminating, I will do that even in dark. I don't have to have two different olos. It's a presentable olo and not presentable olo.
What about ego? Ego on stage, ego off stage.
Okay. We have to first understand what do we mean by ego.
The inflated, good question. Let's say maybe in this case the inflated aspect of self, because a musician is great on stage and coming off in that world like I am great on stage, nobody else says anything because I am it. And
Well,
that
in
gets
that
a lot of
area,
people in
yeah.
trouble too.
Because that's one kind of ego. Okay, now in musicians who are not the great musicians, the ego they have, that's to show off to the people that I'm I'm somebody really special. Because they don't have the artificially, they try to prove that they're somebody special. The true artists, if they have that ego to run away from people, that don't bother me, man, don't disturb me, that is only to protect themselves. Has nothing to do with the harmful ego. Did
So,
I?
yeah, I completely understand. We have
Okay.
different parts of self, like we call it different ego states. Protective
Exactly.
ego state that says,
That's the one thing that I know that I do that. I have to do it because all the time they ask me to play with them. That's they look for opportunity ways to and that's another reason that I don't ask anybody for anything
boundaries.
because immediately they want me to play with them. And so that's the reason. That's another. But that's a protective.
That's true. So one of the things in my book addresses privacy and boundaries. To a lot of times their lives don't work as well because privacy is not at all part of their world. There are no boundaries. Home place is workplace all night long, 24 hours a day, no day off. What do you think about that in a musician's life?
But say that again because
Privacy
I see
and boundaries.
there are whole different questions in one question.
So first of all, privacy.
Okay.
In terms of how do you protect your privacy? If you're a public figure, some people they're out all the time, their whole life is on TV nowadays, and then there are some who are a little bit completely private, protect their privacy. What is your take?
First of all, I'm not a personally I'm nowhere close to that status. So I never experienced anything like that. So I don't know. Normally, what to my level, to me, that what happened is that all after the show, many people came, and mostly just to shake hand and say how they liked it and that sort of thing. Now, so I cannot really say anything which I have not experienced. That nobody really bothered me. Well, I shouldn't say nobody bothered me. They do bother me, either with the email mostly, that or in Facebook messaging too, and I simply block them or don't respond to them. That sort of thing. Harassment is of course a little bit there, but the one you are talking about, the mega star and all that, I have no idea what that place is.
What about privacy in relationships, marriage, or if both people are musicians, or one is a musician, the other one is not? What about privacy? How do you see that in that aspect?
First of all, I do not believe in relationship. No two people can get along. It's a force. By force we try to do that. Because each individually, everybody has their own mind, they all need their space. And a creative person who has something to give a good support, their emotional support, their spiritual support, they have art. They don't need anybody or anything else in their lives. So that's pretty much what I can say. This band, the Western classical music, the orchestra, Indian music, the sitar and tabla, they're all bullshit. No two people in any society ever liked each other. They just don't. Only one way we can say that, there are three examples I will give you. One is that every rock band, rock and roll, anywhere in the world, they last probably a year to 10 years. Then they all fight each other and they break up. The couple of bands, there are still a few bands, they're still in the market. Probably, if you ask them, you will also hear and see that they don't like each other, but they also know for the business to make millions of bucks, if they stick together, they make that. Personal level, they hate each other.
It's very true. I work with a lot of bands.
So you already know what I'm talking
Right.
about.
But
So
again, on stage, they can make it happen.
It's a fake
Yeah.
thing because of their own interest, not the artistic interest, not a human interest, just a dough interest.
And most artists, they do
It's a
say on
business
stage,
interest.
they seem to, they smile at each other, that's fake, but they seem to forget about the troubles.
That's
They
what
make
that
music
is your
together.
interpretation.
That's what they say.
Right.
They say
Yeah,
they
those
say,
are all show business bullshit. If it is deep rooted, how can you forget?
Mhm.
It's just like a makeup. They're putting a makeup in the public. Thing. It is. I don't believe in.
But you think they can make music without, music can still happen on stage and,
Yeah, because they already know
The
the songs. They've been playing. They're just doing it perfectly, just the way they set it up.
like actors.
Exactly. And then other example I was going to, you probably remember that maybe after that many other orchestra in Western classical music they did. That was the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra. Many years ago. I already moved in LA. The violinists demanded more money than everybody else because they are the main instrument in the band. Do you remember that?
Vaguely I have.
I heard. Well, you can type in internet, you will find it. I've heard that on BBC. So what is it? 150 people are playing all those things. Suddenly the violinists, they think they are superior, they are more important than everybody else. This ego is that kind of a thing is everywhere exists. In Indian classical music, North Indian classical music, or South Indian classical music. Oh man. Tabla players still today, their names are not even mentioned. You look it up on YouTube. You hardly, just 2 or 3 tabla players' names are mentioned, and rest of them are all blank. So these, as I said, those are all stupid and fake things people say. Don't believe in that. Relationship, friendship, I don't believe in anything like that. But that does not mean that you cannot have real well-wishers in your life. I don't have to hang out with my true people to all the time to maintain anything. I hardly see them. I don't feel isolated. I actually keep myself isolated. And but I'm not friendless.
But what roles do drugs and alcohol in your mind play in the role of music?
Nothing, zero. Because they don't, winning anything in the world is has no value to me anyway. I need air to breathe, clothes to wear, because otherwise I will either feel cold or the cop will put me in jail. But basically I don't really need anything, you know. I don't care about anything else. And if you want to really know then why I'm still alive with this smiling face, what's the motivation to hold on to my life? It is only to see, because I believe it, so that's why I'm just trying to how can I say, let's say that if enlightenment is something for human to achieve, which great men say we are, anybody can achieve enlightenment. And I want to be enlightened, meaning that I want to reach to that place where all those definition and labeling that people did for thousands of years, they will become completely meaningless. It is not the object that can stop me from doing it. It's not my color of skin can stop from getting enlightened or getting not enlightened. These are the, I'm a human being, so I have every right to achieve nirvana. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, tabla, I was born into a tabla player's house. From day one, all I heard is that noise. And I already told you my father's attitude was that without playing, without any purpose, right? Pleasure without desire.
Right.
So the pure quality of that is drum music. He was 30 years old, so he used to practice a lot every day before he went to the job. And I heard that. Obviously, that pure quality of the drum's noise appealed to me. That's my driving force. And that's why I can ignore the whole world, even that if they say that sound is accompanies sound, it doesn't have any value to itself. It had to be attached to something.
Yeah.
I can say they're all idiots.
Yeah.
So, because no object is ugly, remember. If you, object in the sense, the rock to a human being, to a flower, to a bird, to a landscape, nothing can be ugly. It is the beholder is the ugly. What do you know about beauty and ugliness in this world? Or what's the definition? Because to my understanding, nobody in the world ever came to a conclusion about the definition of either beauty or ugliness.
It's always the beholder's eyes.
And the beholder is, that guy is an asshole, so everything is ugly. So why do you care about that? So if the world thought the drum music is piece of shit, then the drum music is not piece of shit, is the whole world is piece of shit.
That's a good conclusion.
That's how I look at it.
Uh-huh.
Because if they don't know what they are listening, now that look at that I have been playing that, I have received thousands of people writing to me all those good things. They're buying my CDs all over the world in 6 continents. Now, do you think that specific society and world has the balls to say that drum music is bad, it's not music? I want to see that any motherfucker now can say that it is nonsense.
So you grew up with rhythm every day?
Well, yeah, but not knowing it is rhythm.
Yeah.
Just it was in that there, and I fell in. Of course, I loved it, and that was these are my logic.
Now tell me
If I have to put it in logic, then these are the ones.
Tell me, what would you say if you explain to somebody what is rhythm? What is it, rhythm on the, what you do?
Well, rhythm is a structure, is a pattern,
Mm-hmm.
is a proportionate application of the things.
Can you fall off that pattern?
I-
Can you talk about falling off rhythm, right? Can you fall off that pattern with rhythm? Or are you always in rhythm?
It depends on if I'm being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if I look, why it happens. I got the violin to play a simple some song. But why it doesn't matter simple or difficult. I'm supposed to play beautiful some song. And the moment I see that the audience are really digging it, then I suddenly wanted to do a little bit of Mozart to kind of blow people's mind off. And then it will be off rhythm. The meaning, what it means is that the moment I'm being stupid, my focus is not the music anymore, but the praise from the audience, the new contract from the industry.
The ego.
Right. Then suddenly it is a stupid ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
That telling you do that, do this, and that sort of thing. Just place what you know. And then even a complicated, rhythmically complicated, meaning something that people need to study to get it. That sort of movements will also feel like the most simple movements.
So how do you teach rhythm? I mean the patterns. Is it just constant practice on the same pattern, or is there another way to get into that space?
There is that book that these guys study, they call it a Rhythm of Tabla, that has that only the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, no musical note. That means that no coloring of a structure. The moment the color is gone, noise is gone, meaning do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti is gone, then it becomes a skeleton. And that skeleton is represented by 1, 2, 3, 4. Empire State Building is beautiful building, but the blueprint was not pretty. Blueprint was just the lines on a piece of paper. But without that blueprint, this building couldn't be built.
Makes sense.
Okay? Similarly, the blueprint is that schematic of a circuit or a blueprint of a architecture. It's same thing with any kind of rhythmic thing. That very first thing we have to take out that color and the noise, because they will charm and screw you up. You will never learn.
So with the ragas, it's a coloring. It's a coloring.
Right, raga, but the scale is not.
Scales.
Scale is not, but the elaboration is, and embellishment is. But just learn this basic chord.
So embellishment is what?
All those fancy stuff they do, oscillation, or the bending, sliding notes, and the different time signature,
Ornaments.
this ornamentation. They are not music. They just decorate your shit that way. But so the teaching wise, as I said, that's my approach. That's what I do. At the same time, when they come straight to me to learn tabla in general, then I do both the things at the same time. Meaning giving you the composition and its structure, and then actual division of those lines in your Western terminology, 4/4 time signature in a 4-bar system. You have 16 quotables in a line. That doesn't mean their groupings are just 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Within that, they can be arranged rhythmically any number of possibilities. 16 can be divided in and created many, many different ways. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That has to be also, we have pointed it out. But suddenly, you won't understand 3.5 plus 3.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 4. That is 16.
So there are endless possibilities.
There's possibilities, but I'm not going to give the new guy comes here, okay, do 3.5, 3.5, 2.5, 2.5, and 4. Because that will just go over their head and he will never learn anything. But I have anything, even if it is 4, 4, 4, 4, I still have to teach that person. And when I teach, of course, I don't try to show them how much I know. Why would I do that? Because that's not teaching.
Right.
You came to study with me because you know that I know more than you. So then why that only if I'm stupid and if I'm insecure with my share, then I will try to impress you. Look, I'm doing this and that and all kinds of